Hello everyone, thanks for checking out my video. Today I want to show you how you can install and configure OpenVPN on one of your existing Masternode servers. It's pretty easy and you should do it. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with the OpenVPN website here and talk a little bit about what a VPN is. First off, a virtual private network is a private connection. It's that simple. It's a connection between your computer, the client, and the server computer. And all the data that is transferred between those two locations is encrypted, hence private, okay? And some applications where this may be important to you are matters of security. Like for instance, if you're doing online banking, or if you're going to make a purchase online and you don't want anybody to intercept your credit card number, that might be a good use case for VPN. For instance, if you're using public Wi-Fi, like in a coffee shop, you may be surprised, or maybe not, to hear that there are a lot of people out there using scanners to steal your data on these open networks. So by connecting to a VPN and encrypting all of your data, you protect yourself against that possibility. Some other reasons include tunneling to an IP address outside of your country, because certain countries have been known to censor websites, can't access certain sites because the ISP will block you. And if what you're trying to access is blocked, the way to get around it would be to connect to an IP address in another country where it wouldn't be blocked. And not only that, you'd be safe to do it because they wouldn't be able to tell what sites you were visiting. As far as they're concerned, you're just connecting to an IP address in another location, just like you would for any other website. You know what I mean? So a lot of really good reasons to have a VPS. Probably most of all, as far as I'm concerned, is making sure that Big Brother cannot spy on you and track every little thing that you do online. Probably one of the most valuable commodities that nobody realizes they have is their data. Your data, your browsing history, the things that you do online, the things that you read online, the stuff you download, all of that's being tracked by your ISP. And it's a real racket because they charge you actually a pretty expensive amount of money to have access to the internet. You think that would be enough, but no, they track every little thing you do so that they could take that data, package it up real nice, and sell it, auction it to the highest bidder. Other companies that want to buy your habits, your browsing history, and all that so that they can market to you and advertise to you and sell to you. I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous if you ask me. So this is a wonderful way to circumvent that whole thing, to make your internet browsing more secure, but most of all, more private, to protect your data so that these companies can't take advantage of you anymore. So that's kind of like, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Let's talk about how to make this happen. First of all, if you've already got your virtual private servers running and stuff, then all you have to do is log in and then go through a couple of different commands to get it up and running. It's pretty straightforward. For everybody else who doesn't yet have a server ready, you just go to Vultr website, get a new account or whatever, and then click the plus sign, and it'll take you here where you can deploy a new instance. And this is where you choose your location. So you can choose a location that's close by, which is nice. I recommend choosing a nearby location because it'll reduce the amount of ping that you have, lag time. Not that it should be all that noticeable, but it just makes a lot of sense to me to find something pretty close. You know, so let's say you lived in Seattle or near it. Let's say you live even like in Washington State. Well, then Seattle would be close enough for you, so you could go ahead with something like that. After that, you have to decide which operating system, and what we're going to use is a 64-bit OS of Ubuntu and the version we're going to use is 16.04. Okay, so we would set that up there. And then for your server size, if all you're doing is a virtual private server, then you could go $250 a month. You don't need to do much more than this. This is perfectly fine. But if you're already running masternodes, let's say you have 2 or 3 masternodes running, this is my go-to option. I like the $5 a month one because it has a full gig of RAM. It's got a decent amount of hard drive space, and the bandwidth is at 1,000 gigabytes, which is really good. If you do the majority of your internet surfing through here, then this is going to be more than enough bandwidth for most average users, I would imagine. So even if you did your Netflix streaming through here, I think you'd be in good shape. So that's the one that I recommend. Beyond that, you want to enable IP version 6 just in case for the future. You never know. And then server host name and label, you can label that whatever you want. You can call it OpenVPN. And then hit deploy now and start up your new server. All right, so once you get your server started and it's running, then you can pop in here to the server information and it'll show you your IP address and your password. And what we're going to need to do after that is download a copy of Putty. I'll leave a link to Putty down in the description, but basically you follow that link and come here, and then where it says alternative binary files, just download the putty.exe. See how it says the SSH and Telnet client itself? That's all we need. We just want the client so that we can log into our VPS. This is what the Putty client looks like. And it's very straightforward. What you would want to do for where it says hostname is select this IP address. You can just click the little copy IP address button here and then right click, paste that there. All right, leave the port on 22 and click on open. All right, and then this is your terminal window. If it's your first time logging in, you may get a little pop-up box that says, are you sure you want to access this IP address? Just say yes, it's fine. And then for login, you're going to type in this username, which is root, and then it's asking for your password. Well, your password's right here, so just click this copy password button, and then go back to Putty and right-click anywhere on the screen here, on the black screen, and then hit enter. All right, and that logs us in. Now, minimize this. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is install your updates. So to do that, you just type in apt-get space update space ampersand ampersand apt-get space upgrade space -y. And what that'll do is just download any of the updated packages and automatically install them as needed. Once everything's been installed, then you're ready to set up a swap file. Now, a swap space is pretty straightforward. What it is a certain part of your hard drive which is used as RAM. Remember, the VPS only has 1 gigabyte of RAM. So what we're doing by creating a swap space is using the hard drive for extra storage. And that could be helpful in terms of efficiency for when you're sending information back and forth using your VPN. So to do this, first thing we want to do is check for free space. So let's first see if we already have the swap space here. You're just going to type in free space tac h, and we'll see here that we have memory, but there is 0 in the swap department here, so there is no swap file. The other thing that we want to do is check available space, and to do that we just type in df tac h, and that will show us available space. So right here we're looking for the device option, which is dev, that stands for device, and VDA1, this is our virtual disk. 25 gigs is what we have total. This is how much is used, so we have plenty of available free space here to use as swap. So first thing we're going to do is allocate an actual swap file. Type in fallocate space tac-l space 4G. All right, make sure that's a capital G. That is 4 gigabytes. Okay, that's how much space we're going to use. And then /swap file. All right, and what that just did was create a 4 gigabyte empty file on our root directory. All right, so it's just sitting there. The next thing we need to do is make it read-write for the operating system. So we're going to use this command, chmod space 600 space / swapfile. All right, and that made it so that the operating system could read and write to this particular file, which is 4 gigabytes. All right, the next thing we want to do is turn it into an actual swap space. So we use this command, mkswap space / swapfile. All right, now it's saying setting up swap space, size 4 gigabytes. All right, so now that is swap space, allocated 4 gigabytes, and the operating system knows that it is swap space. Last step is to turn it on. So we just type swap on space / swapfile. All right, and now if we use that same command, free tac h, we'll see that instead of zeros, we've got 4 gigs here now. So it's active and already working, which is really cool. You don't even have to reboot for that, which is kind of the neat thing about Linux, that you can get away with doing stuff like this and not have to reboot. Now, 2 other files that we need to edit here is more or less to make sure that this, if we had to reboot the VPS, that our swap file would automatically start up. There's a very simple command, and I'll share this with you down in the description so that it's just easy for you to go ahead and type in, but it's this one right here, echo swap file none, and we're going to add this to etc fstab, okay? And this portion right here basically tells the fstab file that we have a swap file, all right? The other thing to add is the system control file, which is also in the etc folder. All right, once again, I'll leave the links or the commands down below, but Nano is an editing program, so we're going to open this up and go all the way to the bottom. And here, what we want to do is put a number sign, space, swap config, all right, config, and then we're going to type in a couple of little commands. I'm going to type in vm.swappiness equals 10, and then we're also going to type in vm.vfs cache pressure equals 50. This will make sure that the swap space is a little bit snappier and works faster, okay? Once you've gotten to that point, you just hit Control X, and then it'll say save, yes or no, just put Y, and then leave this as the default, just hit enter. Okay, and now whenever you reboot, it will automatically start your swap space, okay? So you should be in good shape. Now, what we're going to do is install OpenVPN. And to do that, what we have to do is actually download the file. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to the OpenVPN website, and you see where it says VPN software packages? And that says Ubuntu. If you were to just click on this, it's going to give you all these options. Now, remember, we have Ubuntu 16. All right, so this is the one we want right here. If I click on this, it will allow me to download it as a .deb file, but I'm not going to download it on my Windows computer. That doesn't make any sense. I want to download it to Ubuntu, where my VPS is. So what I'm going to do is right-click this and go to copy link address. And then I'm going to go back over here to my virtual private server and then just type in wget space and then right-click. And this will download this Debian file right here. So hit enter. Okay, and then if I use the command ls, let me just minimize this. You can see I have this file right here. Okay, pretty simple. All right, now to install that file, all I have to do is use the package manager. So what we would do is type dpkg space -i for install. space, and then the name of this package, which is, I'm going to put ./open, and then hit tab, and tab fills in the rest of the file name for you. So as long as that matches, you're in good shape. Then hit enter. And what this is doing is installing OpenVPN access server on the VPS. Okay, once that package has been installed, we're ready to start configuring. And the first thing we need to do is set a password for the admin. And to do that, we're just going to type passwd space OpenVPN. And it's asking for the new password. And in this case, you can use any password you like. I would highly recommend using something strong. Once you've chosen a strong password that it accepts, then we're ready to log in and start configuring things. We've been given two different addresses here. You'll notice right here, the admin user interface is at this address, and then the client user interface is at this address. Really, the only difference is it's the same IP address, but this one says admin. So let's go there first so that we can configure things. Go ahead and open up a new tab and go paste and go. All right, and here where it says admin login, we're going to type in OpenVPN for our username. And then for our password, just remember that password we just created. All right, and then click sign in. All right, first things first, the ULA, you got to agree to this. You can read this on your own time. Click on agree. And this gives you all the pertinent information that you'd want to know. All right, here is your IP address. Your license on the free version gives you 2 devices that you can sign up simultaneously. Okay, so that means you could have one connection on your cell phone, the other connection on your desktop computer or your laptop. All right, and besides that, there are just a couple of little tweaks that we can do. Over on the advanced VPN page, I like to turn the default compression settings off, only because I found that the connection was a little sluggish while compression was enabled. So your mileage may vary. It may depend on the type of computer that you're using, but I found for my own purposes, I'm okay with leaving the compression off. Once you're done with that, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and click Save Settings. And then it says settings changed, but it hasn't yet been put into place. So what we'll have to do then is click this Update Running Server button. And what that does is it takes the new settings and applies it to the server. And it says running server is updated. So now the compression is off. If you don't push that button, then it won't turn the compression off, okay? And that's pretty much everything that I would ever want to do here. One last thing you might consider over under user management, just click on user permissions. And here you can actually give yourself a new name. So in this case, I could put in Goose if I wanted, give myself admin access, and then click on Save Settings. Once again, we have to click this Update Running Server button. And now that Goose is here, I can go to More Settings and set him a password. Okay, and we'll go ahead and put in a challenging password here. All right, and then click on Save Settings. Once again, Update Running Server. And now Goose has a password with admin access. I can go ahead and log out here. And if I wanted to log in as Goose, I could do so. Just like that. And now Goose has access to the server as an admin. Okay, that's all well and good. Now we've got everything configured the way we want. We've got our username set up, and we are ready to connect this thing to our computer. So how do we do that? Well, all we have to do is take this admin part of the address off of there. All right, so we're going to the IP address :943. That's our client login. Hit enter on that, and right here we can type in our username, our password, and what I'm going to suggest is to leave this on login. So just go ahead and click go, And this gives you all the options that you'll ever want. A couple things. First is you could download your copy of the client. So just click OpenVPN Connect for Windows. They also have a Mac version, an Android version, and an iOS version, even a Linux. I mean, you could do it across the board. So I'll just go ahead and download this for Windows, and it will give me an option to download this file, which you can say I've already done. And once you download that, you just install it. After you download and install the client, then you just need to grab your profile, which is this one right here. So click that link, you can save that. And after you download your client profile, then just go to OpenVPN, the little icon here, and right-click it. Then you'll go to Import from Local File. I'm going to click on the desktop here and Client OVPN. Click on Open. Then we'll go back to OpenVPN, and you should see your IP address right here. And then I'll just go down to where it says connect as Goose. And it says, do you want to allow this connection? You say yes. And now it's asking for your password. All right, put your password in, click connect. And right now, OpenVPN has a green check mark and it says connected as Goose. And we are now running our internet through that VPN tunnel. You can come back over to Vultr and monitor your bandwidth usage right here, just to see how close you are to your 1000 gigabyte limit. I would venture that most people aren't going to use a full 1000 gigabytes by themselves in a month's time. I mean, anything's possible, but I guess it really depends on your internet usage habits. But that being said, even if you were getting close to 1000 gigabytes, what you could do is spin up another VPS and run another instance. You can add multiple profiles so you can connect to all these different VPNs. All right, that's pretty much it from me, guys. What do you think of this idea, using your VPS as a VPN? It seems to make a lot of sense to me because the masternodes basically pay for the VPS, and the extra resources that are there, you might as well take advantage of, right? So I figured kind of a no-brainer. Not only that, it really helps to protect and secure your data and your internet browsing. So I think that it's a win-win across the board. But be sure to hit subscribe and ding the bell if you want more videos like this. I've got a few other projects coming down the pike, which I think are really quite cutting edge and look really good for crypto. So this is a lot of cool things happening. I know it's near the end of the year, but there are a lot of projects that are really just starting to launch at the end of the year. So a lot of exciting things coming very soon. So be sure to subscribe and ding the bell so you get updates when I post the next video. So once again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless.